with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN 4, up on YouTube Live. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on? How we feeling?
I desperately need some type of optimism in this city, Hazy B. I don't know what you could possibly say or point me in the right direction of optimism, because things are a little bit yucky right now, all around the horn.
Yeah, it really is, man. I don't have anything for you.
Dude, go from the weather to the sports teams to, not golfing yet. It's just somebody write in and tell us something that we could hang our hat on today, because I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would be.
It's not Alejandro Kirk news. Are you guys seeing that in our text chain right now? That is not good.
What is the latest on him? Obviously, he's injured.
Left thumb surgery tomorrow.
He's having surgery, okay.
Oh.
So that knocks him out for months, right?
That hurts because he's good.
Oh,
not a problem there. We got Heineman.
Yeah, we got Tyler Heineman, who really had a tough weekend in Chicago. Really, really tough weekend. Got thrown out at third, which was inexcusable.
Who was the guy? Who was it that in the squeeze that threw it 12 feet over?
That was Heineman. Well, it was Heineman where they caught the guy in a rundown.
I know,
it was Ernie Clement that made a brilliant play. Look at Ernie fake this, and he's like, I got this. All right.
We got this guy.
Come on, big dog. And this is so routine, and Heineman's like, left field. Okay. So that was the beginning of the end for basically the whole series. That was the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
And he didn't even play yesterday because they called the kid up, Valenzuela, to play. And listen, it's trouble. To answer your question, I did not see that came out, but it is official now. He has had surgery. We'll wait for John Schneider to speak. Addison Barger not in the lineup tonight. Now, lefty's on the mound, but I think he'd be playing. He left the game. He was banged up. We'll see if he ends up on the IL because they've called up a couple of players. So you got the Jays are 4-5. Kirk's out. Ponce is probably done for the year. Barger could be on the IL or certainly banged up. And what else you got? You got Bieber out. You got your Savage out. You got Barrios out. You're getting swept by one of the worst teams in baseball. And the Dodgers are waiting for you tonight.
Oh, man. I'm afraid of what the Dodgers are going to do to these guys. There is that, opportunity for it to wake them up and say, if we don't put it together, we're going to get smoked by these guys. But I honestly don't see it, man. You just mentioned all the guys that are out, and they just got no mojo right now. They might just get absolutely punted tonight by the Dodgers.
It's the concern. Tonight's the one you got to get because Yamamoto's on the mound tomorrow, and Ohtani's on the mound on Wednesday. So right now,
other than that, no problem.
Outside of those two waiting for you, Wroblewski's on the mound tonight. You got to get him this evening. You got to find a way to win. You've lost 5 of 6 against terrible baseball teams. The crazy thing is the rest of the division outside of the Yankees are awful right now too.
Yeah,
Boston's a disaster. The Red Sox are a mess, and it's still very early in the year.
Very early. Let's breathe a little bit. They still got a ton of games left. We saw it last year. Didn't they have a terrible start last year?
Awful start, yep.
It's early. Yes, there's the injury bug, but the Kirk one bothers me because he's such he's a unique player, right?
He's as pivotal as it gets.
Right, and he's gritty, too. That guy, for him to come out, even Schneider said, for him to come out like you knew something was up. And it seemed like a innocent play, right? It hits the bottom of the glove, which would have bent his thumb back. That is...
Well, you can speak to it, Noodles.
I can.
How many times goalies you'd get shots that...
Wrong spot.
99 times out of 100, you grab it and you move on. You don't even think twice about it. And that one just got him in the wrong spot.
My heart hurt for him because I was watching. I was like, you knew something right away. The way he was holding his hand, and then it caught the bottom of the lip of the glove. I was like, I actually had flashbacks of getting a stinger there, and I was hoping it was just a stinger, but to see that's ligament damage or something broken or a plate has to go, you name it.
That's significant. Well, and it does beg the question. Again, we're just really driving down a road of pessimism right now. But even when he returns, how do you get back to 100%? How do you get enough at bats? How do you trust yourself? How do you find a rhythm if you're out for a couple of months and you're jumping on a moving train? It's not easy to do. Yeah. So it's the Jays, there's not a ton of optimism again because the Dodgers are here. A lot of people are reliving the World Series, which was a painful finish. It was a brilliant run. It was an incredible season. It was an incredible playoffs. The World Series was phenomenal. It was. Like, I'm not objective being there and being from Toronto and everything, but I'm sure you guys have talked to people throughout the hockey world. They're like, I couldn't get enough of the World Series, and not Blue Jay fans, not Dodger fan. It was just an incredible, experience, and the entertainment value was through the roof. But this is supposed to be about, get some retribution and get some payback to an extent. I get it. I understand you're negative, but I'm going to spin it the other way.
What are you talking about? I'm negative.
Well, you're not negative. You're being a realist, and I get it that right now it's tough to be optimistic. I'm actually going to spin it that it's the perfect time to meet them, to have the Dodgers show up. You got Scherzer on the mound tonight. It's the perfect time for John Schneider to go to his team and say, enough. We're 9 games in, cut it out. We got to get some guys cooking here. And I look at Guerrero. Vladdy's having a typical regular season start. Gets on base, bunch of singles, right? 1 home run.
It's not good
enough.
Let's
get going tonight.
Yeah, let's get cooking.
Vladdy's got to have a week.
You had 23 homers last year. Let's kind of move past that and not keep asking Keegan, when is he going to get hot? Oh, it's coming. It's around the corner. Yeah. John Schneider, it's around the corner. And as far as celebrating the World Series, Hayes, and this is not a negative spin or take. This is a new me this week, all positive. I'm all about AI, and I'm all positive. I don't care if you want to hire a GM here that has 0 experience in hockey. Go ahead and hire them. I will celebrate it.
Wow.
No, you won't.
Okay.
I won't.
Look at you.
No, but as far as celebrating the World Series, all you got to do, all that kind of flips you back into reality is their start where you're like, okay, the World Series stuff is over. And then you see the piece Steve Phillips did on SportsCenter last night where it's like everything was second. They were second on Ohtani, second on Tucker, second in the World Series. It's like there's nothing left to celebrate. You don't – let's get back – let's get cooking here.
I hear you. It's not you're not celebrating losing the World Series. Right. It's more just it's nostalgic. That's what the Dodgers represent, right? And I don't know what the Blue Jays represent.
But in the clubhouse, Brian, and playing sports that it doesn't I talk about it all the time. It goes from 0 to miserable quickly in pro sports.
Absolutely.
The good vibes about, last year's – so I kept asking about the chemistry, how difficult it is to keep up and keep that vibe. And, we're just going to keep it trucking. It's gone. It's like a new start, and everyone's got to snap out of it and wake up.
Yeah, you're right. 9 games. It took 9 games.
Yes, 9 games for the party to be over and stop talking about how everyone's a great guy and Ernie Clement and this and that, and it's over.
Here's the other thing that we should factor in as a fan base, but they certainly need to factor in. Everybody in the league outside of the Dodgers watched the Blue Jays go to the finals. So when the teams match up against them, they know that the Blue Jays are a good team. You are going to get a lot of teams' bests because they watch them go right to extra innings in the World Series, Game 7. So you're like, that's a good team. If you're not ready on a particular weekend to play them, that's the one thing that is lost in all of this is they're not surprising anybody anymore. You watched, that roster and a good chunk of it. Yes, there's new players go deep into the playoffs. So the teams are going to get up for the Blue Jays. They've got to be ready. It's not like, the Dodgers, they're not playing for the World Series every night, but people have to circle them and go, that's the World Series champs. Well, the Blue Jays lost right against the World Series champs. People watch them play every night, go deep into the playoffs. You are going to get a lot of teams' best. They're not going to take their foot off the gas.
I hear what you're saying. The problem is the best for Colorado is still horrendous.
Well,
and the best for the White Sox is awful. That's the problem with 4 and 5 is that you played your easiest 9-game stretch of the season. probably.
That start,
and you started with a sweep. They were 3-0, like with Colorado rolling through town.
Major League Baseball tried to say be perfect for opening pitch against the Dodgers. Try and be like, because it was right there.
It was right there for a 7-2 start with Scherzer on the mound tonight, or 8-1, and especially after they swept the Athletics to start the season, and now they've lost 5 of 6, and they have injuries piling up and. Anyway, listen, we'll see what they have. Scherzer on the mound tonight, Yamamoto tomorrow, and Ohtani on Wednesday for the Dodgers. So you're going to get, the Dodgers, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what they think of the Blue Jays. They obviously pushed them to their limit, but they beat them, and they've beaten a lot of really good teams in the World Series, the last couple of years. So who do they consider their main rival? Don't you think they think just like us and regular dudes do? They're probably drinking beers in the clubhouse or on the back of a bus or at a restaurant saying, maybe they were a one-hit wonder last year and they just played out of their minds, and we're lucky that we did beat them, because this year they might be just regular Joe Blows again. It's not like they have this magic formula into what's happened to them or their start or what they are or what they could be. They have to prove it. The Blue Jays have to prove it. I mean, I said it how many times throughout the spring and spring training. The last 2 years are a perfect example of why it's impossible to predict. It's 74 wins, then they had 94 wins. And by no means am I shifting my expectation, but injuries are real. Right? This isn't a feelings take where you're like, it just doesn't feel good. It's like Kirk he's had surgery. They cannot replace him. It's a massive hit. Guy hits in the middle of the lineup.
You have to.
I'm with you. You're not finding anyone close to Alejandro Kirk. Like, it's just not happening. So
but
you can
gotta
replace
go get
him.
We talked about a guy the other day, Hayes. I know it's ridiculous, but a guy like Danny Jansen, who's a veteran guy who's been here before, just go get somebody like that.
Yeah, and I would think they've got to consider that, and they'll look into it. But who's doing you a favor right now, 9 games into the season? No. Why are you trading a good player? Like, the worst team in the league's like, I'm not doing that. Why would I go to my owner and say I'm trading a guy? Like, we're just starting. We're trying to sell tickets. We're trying to get going. So I just don't think it's realistic. I think they'll look into it, and they might have to make it a reality by overpaying in 2 or 3 weeks. But I don't think they're going to do it right now. And the other guys are, we'll see when they return. We'll see what the update is on Barger and what happens with the Savage and Barrios and Bieber, et cetera. But the Dodgers are in town, and we'll tee it up. Keegan will join us from the park in about an hour, and
Scherzer's going to be fired up tonight.
Absolutely,
he's
he'll be ready to rock. Of course, he will be.
He's coming to play.
But it's not. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the bats. I mean, they got skunked again yesterday. Their offense has been really sputtering, and you take a couple of guys out of the lineup, like Kirk, like Barger. Those are guys. They were hitting 4 and 5 in your lineup opening night. We were here this time last week, give or take, and saying, hey, there's your 4th and 5th hitter. There's your protection for Vladdy. Neither guy's in the lineup tonight. And I guess John Schneider just speaking, saying, quote, I think we'll know more about Barger either later today or tomorrow, end quote. That doesn't sound great either. That sounds like MRI and second opinion, and they're going to try to figure out what's going on. But anyway, Barger not playing tonight, Kirk's surgery. So that's one team. The Raptors are choking, and they can't beat anyone that's even
above them,
average in the league, let alone above average. Yeah. So they're now officially a part of the play-in, and they've got 4 games left, 2 of which are against Miami, and 1 against the Knicks, 1 against Brooklyn. So not a ton of positivity there. I think most people expect they're going to make the playoffs or the play-in, but no one has championship expectation. They're not going to go on some miracle run. The Leafs, I'll say this about the Leafs. They've actually had a very entertaining road trip.
It was entertaining.
Like, the games in Anaheim and L.A. were incredible. The San Jose game was terrible. We were on the panel for that. It was not an entertaining performance, but the Anaheim game and the L.A. game on Saturday was unreal. Like, great theater, thoroughly entertaining. I don't know what you can take from it other than they got 3 points in those 2 games.
Well, that's the problem.
Causing them problems for the tank. But
that's the problem is, like, they got a big, an L.A. point there. You're going, you didn't need it. Like, I know, and you play hard. The guys on the roster don't care about the draft position. That's the unfortunate part. And I don't even know if
they're not all playing hard. That's the weird thing. They're not. It's not like everyone's out there.
Willie in OT there wasn't having the. He was.
I think just in general, Willie's ready for the end of the year. He's not alone, but this is the problem with the inconsistencies. You got Keith Pelley coming out, and he's he's insulted by the idea of tanking, so he's not issuing that motive to Craig Berube, and Berube is going to do what he's going to do and play Calle Yarncroke for some reason at center, and and hey, you can't put Villanova in the lineup because we're trying to win for some reason. There's just so many issues within the organization right now.
Let me ask you this: what do they have to do? Somebody out there that crunches numbers, what do they have to do to get into the bottom 5? Is it just lose out, period, or is it you go 1-4? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out, to get into that bottom 5 to, if you end up keeping your pick. Because right now they're handing the 8th pick, right? They're going to hand the 7th or 8th pick to Boston.
You got to lose. I mean, it doesn't matter what the math is, Noodles. You got to lose. I mean, that's the math. You have to lose because you can't predict what Florida's going to do in Seattle and the Rangers and all that.
No, but it's Rangers, Kraken, Florida, in the Leafs and Winnipeg and St. Louis, all of them kind of in that mix, right?
Exactly.
To drop down if you're going to drop down. And because Calgary, I don't think you're getting below Calgary. I don't think Calgary's got a really tough road trip here too. They've got Colorado 2 more times and stuff. So I don't think you're going to catch Calgary on the negative side. But it's literally that 5th spot, that 4th and 5th spot, if you can get there to retain your own pick.
Yeah.
Noodles, it was a slam dunk to just shut guys down who have the guys that were battling injuries, William Nylander, Matthew Knies.
The Knies is
goes on
flying
and on
right now. That's the thing. These guys might drag you into that 7th spot.
I know. But I think it's just irritating people where it's like, okay, we had to watch you this year, which we'll do because we're Leaf fans or people that watch it or whatever. But, when you get down to the nitty-gritty and you're clearly out of it, can't you at least tank properly? That's the ultimate kick in the pills on the way out the door. It's like, all right, don't tank. Kind of half tank and just miss the opportunity to keep your pick.
Yeah.
Really sensible idea.
Yeah, and that had to come from management, right? And maybe True Living was willing to do it. Maybe he wasn't. Obviously, the replacement or the interim GM is not willing to send that message. That's why it's just it's very muddy waters. What you're trying to achieve. I can understand the philosophy as an organization of we're not tanking. That's not who we are. That's not what we are. We don't believe in forcefully losing. Whether you agree or disagree with it, I can get behind that if that's just the integrity of the office, right?
Right.
That's the way the owner wants it, and that applies to every team, and we're never doing it because that's not how we operate. Okay, I get that philosophy, but is that really what it's going to be consistently for the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, as long as Pelly's here, as long as Rogers is running the operation, or is it just a one-off?
That's what no one knows, Hayes. And I think the one thing, I always thought this about the presser going back 10 days or whenever it was. I think if you're a fan of the team, you were looking for two things, clarity and confidence. And I don't think you got either one of those 2 elements out of that, especially the clarity part. It's like, what the hell is going on here? You got to hire a firm to bring in a real good hockey person? What
that's evidently what's
that's the part.
Happen.
You're not going to have clarity until you know who the person is and then their vision. And they're not going to tell you their vision. It's not, they're going to say, we're going to be a very competitive team that, works hard, all of that. They're going to have the buzzwords. But you're not going to know. My biggest worry is if it takes a month to do this, you're a month behind. Look at what the Islanders just did. Now that they hired DeBoer.
Pete DeBoer is
one guy's off the board
4 games
now.
left.
Right?
Yeah. You're right, though. That's it.
You've got to be proactive heading into the end of this season because exactly what happened to Brad Treliving, you do not want to do to the new guy because Tree came in too late and it was like, you got to deal with Martin. You got to deal with this stuff. And it was like tomorrow. And I would hire somebody ASAP within reason. You got to do your due diligence, but they need to see what's going on for themselves right now. Get an idea of the culture. Get an idea of, because all you're going to do is come in and ask the people that are incumbent. Oh, how's the culture in the AHL? How's the culture here and there? And they're going to go, oh, it's great. Well, because they want to protect their own jobs. They're not going to tell you the truth. So you need to come in and get a whole pulse of this whole group right now and decide who you want to forge ahead with. And like Chris Pronger said, you've got to talk to Austin Matthews representatives and say, are you all in? Because I'm going to build around you. You go to William Nylander, you go to John Tavares, you go to Morgan Riley's camp and say, where are you guys at? Give me your list. Let's see, because if I have to change things, I want options right now to sort it out. And that takes time to do before the draft, before free agency, because those decisions are going to shape the future of your organization. That has to be done yesterday, even though I'm being but in reality, they could, like if you were going to get rid of Tree Living, why'd you even come out of the Olympic break with them? Like, why not? Then you're really in front of it. Then it's like, all right, we're going to do this at the trade deadline. We're going to hire someone within the next 2 months, and then we're going to hit the ground running. Because if the plan is to retool and try and be competitive, and it feels like that is going to be their plan, then you've got to, I think, get a coach to do that. I can't picture how Craig Berube, like the Islanders are in the playoffs, they're firing their coach. Vegas are in the playoffs, they're firing their coach. Berube is the head coach for a team that thought they were competitive this year, and they're a disaster. There's no way you can sell it to anyone. You're actually thinking you can win next year and bring Berube back. I mean, it doesn't jive. So if you're going to look for a new coach, well, DeBoer's in Long Island. Yeah. Cassidy, who knows what he's going to do. But other coaches are going to get fired over the next week and a half, and then they're going to start hiring guys. Right.
So, I think it's important to get the management done first. We got to get through that before they can even start to make determinations on what they're going to do with the coaching staff.
And keep in mind, too, Brian, so maybe they decided, okay, the coaching staff going to finish out this season and we're going to move on from them at the end of the season. I can understand that. The new person wants the bullets for themselves. And what I mean by that is they're going to say, you do the firing before I come in. I don't want to come in and fire because that's my first bullet. And usually as a manager, you get, 2, 3 or whatever before people start to look at you. So whoever the new manager, the new president, all of that is, probably wants, for the most part, a clean slate, or again comes in and takes a look at what he has throughout the organization. Because there's a lot of valuable people here. With Toronto management, within the organization, a lot of valuable people that can help. But I think the new person has to assess that, and you can't just do that overnight.
Guys, I think the one you just brought up a good point, Jamie. The one position that's getting let off the hook, because we asked Kelly McCrimmon the last week, what is the reasoning for all these coaching firings? And we tend to blame the players a lot. We tend to blame a watered-down league a lot, not enough talent. But there's a bunch of GMs that are firing coaches that have put together terrible hockey teams for a long time. And it's just fire the guy. And it's like GMs are not getting fired on the reg. And they're doing some weird-ass stuff out there.
You're right.
They don't really seem to take accountability for it, man.
Yeah, it's their bullet.
Oh, yeah, it's like, I know we thought he was good. Your team stinks. You put together you sign bad signings, bad free agency, bad drafting, whatever it is, and they're invincible. It's like, I got to fire that coach. He's a dummy.
You know who had the formula down to a science? Remember Mike Milbury was the president GM, and then he would make himself the GM, and then he'd bring somebody in, and he'd fire himself, send himself back up to the president, and then when he didn't like what was going on, he would fire that GM and make himself the GM, and then he would bring in somebody else and do that. Like, it's this little cycle where I still think they need 2 people unless you're going to bring in one person who can handle it all. That's the president and GM who wants that tag, we'll call it. But I still believe with MLSE and all of their resources and the money and the people behind it, you got to have smart hockey minds at the table. And Brendan Shannon was a smart guy, regardless what you liked about it. You took him out of the room, and you didn't replace him. I would bring in somebody for that role. I'd bring in somebody for the manager, and then they could take a look at the whole situation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Now, what I would say on that is if Keith Pelly wants to be in the room, he's going to be in the room. Like that. Yep. That's what gets lost in all this. Like, you got to get a president to manage up. Well, what if the managing up is non-existent and they're like, well, we're just coming in? What are you going to say? You know, hey, you're not allowed in here. My job's to manage you. It's like, well, actually, I'm coming down to the coach's room to hang out. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to say? So that has nothing to do. Like, I guess my point is that role to me is irrelevant unless we have an answer that Keith Pelley and ownership is completely out of the room. And I don't know if anyone can guarantee that. But so what value
would it be to have people just hanging around that have no idea what the hell they're talking about?
It's not about value. They have access. It's not about value. It's
then maybe
about
that's
access.
One of the bigger problems that just lies right there. It's just all these people have access to stuff they don't. It's nonsense.
Like, that's the thing. Like, we keep talking culture, and some people are like, a lot of people, I think when you hear that, you think the dressing room. And that's the most important one to define and have right. But it generally starts at the top. It generally starts at the top. And that means if the room is open to, hey, this guy's coming down, and hey, there's this guy, and hey, we just got a big win, and we're coming in.
How many teams in the league have this structure of, like, the MLSE and the board and all these people floating around, and they have to approve this and approve that? Some good organizations, you look at Carolina, there's the owner, not my favorite guy in the world. There's the GM and Rod Brindamore. Obviously, there's other people that do legwork and scouting and different stuff. There's none of that. So you want to talk about a culture problem within a locker room, maybe the whole thing's a mess, and like it's crazy the amount of stuff that goes on.
But it comes back to what we were talking about last week. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs and MLSE. It's a giant corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation, and it's not Tom Dundon's situation where it's a billion-dollar team or whatever it's valued at, and he's a single owner that can do whatever he wants. This is a corporation that has layers. That's why I think, coming back to what you were talking about, Brian, if Keith Pelley wants to be in the room, so be it. But there should be a chain of command that is laid out before the season or whatever. You talk about culture, and Keith Pelley, this person reports to Keith Pelley. The general manager reports to this person. Like, the chain of command should be laid out.
I'm not disagreeing, Noodles. I'm saying in a perfect world, but the chain of command is irrelevant if the guy at the top of it disregards the chain of command.
That's fair.
And I'm not saying I know that that's happening or going to happen in the future. I'm speaking specifically of, and I'm not anti-president or president of hockey operations. Go ahead. But I'm saying, in large part, the reason it's being promoted is, well, that person will be there to keep,
the buffer. I get it. Yeah,
that's a one-way street. The buffer, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been around it. You've seen it. You know, for the owners, hey, we're coming down. Okay, what are you going to say? No, sorry, buffering. You're not allowed to come down. No. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be involved in the process, including, hey, what are the expectations? Well, we think you should be a playoff team. Okay, well, those are the expectations all of a sudden, because the only ones that matter, not the president of hockey ops, it's the owner and the CEO and all that. Exactly. They're the ones that are going to determine all that. All right, Keegan coming from the park just after 5 o'clock. Keegan Matheson will join us. Jays Dodgers tonight. We got Struddy coming up. We've got a lot of things going on in the NHL. We'll get to it. It's Masters week, so we got a lot to get into this week. We cannot wait for it as Rory McIlroy makes his return, defending champ. So we'll get to that throughout the week, including a little bit later this afternoon. And, we're getting close to Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, championship game, NCAA tonight. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful week. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel. We got Keegan Matheson live from the Rogers Center. Jays, Dodgers tonight. Max Scherzer on the mound. And we'll get to some Masters content as well throughout the week. We're looking forward to this. Masters week. The weather looks beautiful. It's been really dry down there. It sounds like the course is going to be, pretty icy, which is always a good thing. And McIlroy back, Scheffler back. Obviously, no Tiger, no Mickelson, but tons of good stuff this week. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. As for what's going on in the NHL, there's a ton of stories. Like the DeBoer for Waugh stuff was shocking to me. Equally as
4
shocking,
games.
equally as shocking as Cassidy for Tortorella, in my opinion, because they're still in the playoffs and they have 4 games left. But we'll get into that. We'll get into what Sid's doing. Brent Burns playing in 1,000 straight games.
Yep.
And I think the best way to do it is bring in our main man from Edmonton. Here he is, Jason Strudwick, joining us on OverDrive. There he is with the headset on. What's up, Strud? How we doing?
Safety first, boys. Got to protect these ears.
Free sweatshirt, too, I see.
I love it.
What is
Championship weekend.
What is that? What's that hoodie from, Strud?
Oh, it's first off, it fits like a glove, like it does my wife. I mean, like, girl, my eyes are up here. But it's from a hockey tournament we were in with my kids. Spent a lot of time at hockey rinks, a lot of time.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you. And this is completely coincidental, but the Oilers got pumped on Saturday, and then we invited you on the show. They've been playing very well prior to that. Very well. I was very impressed with Vegas. And I want to ask you, because this is a story. I was watching an interview with George McPhee over the weekend. They have Mitch Marner playing center, and they are committed to it. By all accounts, they are not moving him back to the wing. Now, that could be subject to change. But I thought he looked really good the other night. He had a 5-point game in Calgary the game before. What do you make of it, Strud? One of your favorite players, Mitch Marner. He's a center now that he's down in Vegas and playing for the Golden Knights.
Well, to give you guys credit, usually I do give you guys a hard time because you always call me right after the Oilers struggle. So this interview was booked like last week. The guys are on, so I got to give you guys a bit of credit for that. It's funny that you touched on a little bit some of the firings that happened late in the season, and Tortorella going to Vegas, and it didn't take him long to kind of get Eichel and Marner kind of on different lines, and then Marner at center, and they didn't kind of putting them in and out, and I think he's really trying to figure out what he's got. It's one thing to watch video of guys, and you don't really know until you're behind the bench, putting people in different situations. And to me, I think Mitch at center makes a lot of sense because he is defensive responsible. The offensive speaks for itself, but also I think he makes his line mates better. So I think from the middle he can do that. Now the problem is how much does that limit the offense that I just talked about, playing in all 4 corners of the rink and all that. But he is a good defensive player. So I think it does make sense, and having that kind of double-headed monster does really change things up when you have some of the wingers they have like Stone or Dorofeyev.
Yeah. Well, it is, again, it's a management thing where they apparently are pushing it. Now, maybe that was an issue. Maybe Cassidy, who had tried him at center at times earlier in the year, wasn't committed to it, and they feel like Tortorella will do it. I'm curious what it means come playoff time, because we know Mitch is not a guy as a winger that was leading a forecheck. Like, he's not doing that during the regular season. He is not going to do it during the playoffs. Does this insulate him more? I mean, you guys can speak to it better than I can. He's got to be down low battling. He's got to be defensively in the fight. But does it open him up to – because he'd get pushed out. Let's call it what it is. Like in big playoff games, it would get rough and tumble, and he would not be interested in that. Does playing center possibly take him away from that a little bit and maybe puts him in a better spot for success in the playoffs?
Well, let's take specifically if you're playing against the Oilers. So, does McDavid or Draisaitl, do either one of those guys fear playing against Mitch Marner physically? Is he going to get leaned on? We've seen guys like Barkov, not that they're pushing McDavid and Leon around, but he's a big, strong guy. So now it's the other way. And so Mitch has to be, you have to be maybe use his head a little bit more and kind of his feet to defend rather than leaning on guys in those big moments in the playoffs. So I like the idea, though, that he has the puck and he's able to make his line mates better from the middle. He can touch, more parts of the game. But I think the size does make a difference when you're looking at specific matchups. I'm guessing in what would be the Pacific Final would be if it's Vegas and Oilers.
Strud, what's your final assessment of these Edmonton Oilers heading into the playoffs? It's been a topsy-turvy season with all kinds of ups and downs. The goaltending, you guys can, both you Edmonton boys can tell me you're fully confident in that goaltending heading to playoffs. Completely disagree. But, final assessment, can they just get Leon back and pull it together and just go on a rip, or what the hell's going on out there?
Well, they had a 5-game win streak, and the first 4 games of that win streak were the best games I've seen the Oilers play all year. It was bar none. And a couple things that aren't sexy that I really appreciate, the penalty kill. They really were good in the penalty kill. They were physical, and they were blocking shots. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of things that are building a championship for the Edmonton Oilers. But when the Oilers are at their best in previous playoff rounds and years, they were really good in those areas. Like their penalty kill was absolute weapon for them. The power play are now struggling, but you take off Leon Draisaitl off any power play and you're going to struggle. We know that'll come back when he comes back. Today, Knobloch gave an update. Sounds like he'll be skating sometimes this week and could be available for game 1 of the playoffs. Okay, so if he's not, is it game 2, 3, 4, whatever? It sounds like he's going to be back in that first round, if I'm guessing. But there's some staples you can build on. The new guys, Murphy and Dickinson, I think have helped stabilize it. And Dickinson's taken a lot of the hard responsibilities. So it's coming together. It really looks like it's coming together. Against Vegas, Vegas was ready to go, and the Oilers got 4 times off the rush, but they're heading in the right direction. Now, what does it look like for the rest of the season without Hyman and Leon for at least a little while for Hyman? Might be a little dusty, but I feel a lot better about what I've seen in their game the last 2 weeks than I was, just a short time ago.
Yeah, they've looked good. I've been watching them like Savoy. That Savoy kid's
That's
really
what I was going to add,
Yeah.
Brian. Like that's the one thing is they allowed some of these young kids to try and push through, and Savoy looks like he's pushed through. And Podkolzin's found a home in that top 6 to top 9, depending on who you want to. Like those are young guys. Those are Savoy's 21 and Podkolzin's 23 or 24. That's the young guys you need to cycle through in organizations. And it took a little bit because, it's been topsy-turvy or whatever. That's the consistency that I would need to see more from them is other guys outside of 29 and 97. And that's Roslovic, that's Savoy, that's Podkolzin. Because you throw in RNH and Hyman into those other guys. That's the one thing that I've circled. And then in their defensive core, I think Murphy's been good for Nurse. They got that matchup away from Wallman and Nurse, and I think, when you look at it, I think that Emberson has helped settle Wallman down. So I don't, I think they're a lot better served than they were, but they still have to show me more. That's the way I would see it.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to be the case all the way up until puck drop, right? Opening night in Vegas, I don't think it's out of the woods either. Like they've gotten a new coach bump, and Tortorella's pushing some buttons, and they've played well. But they've got to prove it. Their goaltending. It feels like Carter Hart's going to be their guy. It feels like it's going to be Hart. We'll see. But there is going to be some mystery there in terms of his performance. And then you look at the East. We were talking about it, obviously, DeBoer coming in. And I was reading the comments from their GM, Matthew Darsh. And I love how these GMs are like, nah, we love Patrick Waugh. Loved him.
Had to go.
It was just, Pete DeBoer.
4 games left.
Yeah, 4 games left, but you just love the guy. And we love Bruce Cassidy. Didn't lose the room at all. Great guy. Unreal coach. It's obviously something happened there. But you bring DeBoer in, all of a sudden they're chasing Philly. They're chasing Pitt's gonna make it, like they're in. And Ottawa's back in a playoff spot after a big win yesterday. What's your projection on what happens here in the East, Rudd? Like, which teams get in? You think Ottawa gets in? Does Philly hold on? Where do you stand on that?
Well, Pittsburgh, I can't believe they're in it. I can't believe Philly's in it either. I think those are 2 teams I felt pretty confident going in would be out, and that would mean like New Jersey or Washington. Even Toronto would have been in there for those picks. So now you've got those 2 guys in, and Ottawa's just fighting for their life out there trying to get in. I do hope they get in. With 4 games left to fire a coach, I thought it was crazy what Vegas did, although they did look flat. But with 4 games to go, and I think they have a couple practice days here, but how much can you change in 4 days? It's clear they're looking towards next year, I think, with the new coach. So I think it's going to be kind of hard. You have no idea what the reaction of your team's going to be with 4 games to go in the season and so many must-win games in that moment.
You guys not ultra shocked on Detroit dumping another game yesterday? Like,
I'm worried about
Hayes.
Dude, I told you. What did I tell you coming out of the Olympics?
I know, but Hayes,
what did I tell
all the
you?
way after, right after Christmas in January, we were like, Buffalo was starting to truck, and we said Detroit, they've been in first or second all year long, and they finally broken through. I did not think this was going to happen again this year, and it's happening. They must be just beside themselves in Motown. It's one of the surprising stories in the league.
It is. They were 10 points in like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they pulled the Leafs. What was the Leaf number? 9 in with 9 to go, and they finished 9 out?
Yeah, that was almost impossible, but the Leafs pulled it off. But I told you one team would fall apart. I said one team was going to choke, and appears to be Detroit. This will be the third year in a row they're going to do this. That Patrick Kane penalty last night is the dumbest penalty I think I've seen in years.
Yeah, cheesiest and dumbest.
But stupid. It was a trip.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
Why are you even putting your stick anywhere near that guy?
Insane play for a veteran like that to do that. Like, it was just a crazy play.
I feel like, though, do you guys not feel like it's going to be the last night of the season, and it might be like a team's out, an Eastern team's like out West or Central or something, and you're watching the clock. Like, there might be a team that's in for 3 hours and they lose because of the team that's in the next time zone. Like, I feel like, was it years ago where remember the goalie? It was a shootout for New Jersey and the Islanders or something like that.
Well, that was the Leafs. That was always on the Leaf team. It was in 06. When you guys the Leafs were watching the Islanders in a shootout to see if they'd make the playoffs.
And this random goalie was in there.
Islanders and Devils,
Yeah, Wade Dublovich.
Wade Flaherty.
Wade Dublovich.
Yes.
Wade Flaherty.
Yeah.
Wade Dublovich.
So what did the Leafs have to do with that? I can't remember.
They needed the Islanders to lose, I think it was, or vice versa. It was one or the other. And if they lost the shootout, that 1 point knocked O-Dog up to Muskoka with the rest of them, and they missed the playoffs.
The Muskoka 5,
and that was
the Muskoka 6.
Yeah, Fergie and everything. Like, Pat Quinn, I think, got fired shortly after. It was a disaster.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen at this season.
Yeah, you're right.
And it might be even something crazier, where like it's a goaltender interference call or a shady, like something weird, like we're going to. The storylines, this has been the weirdest, chaotic year I've ever seen in recent memory, the last 15, 20 years. And I still think it's going to be the last leg of the regular season. You're going to see something funky.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'm bracing for. And how about Columbus, Strud? Like, Rick Bowness was coach of the year a week ago. They've lost 6 straight now.
6 straight. Like, they just empty the tank and say, okay, that's it for us.
We don't really want to make the playoffs. It's like they had trips booked. And they all realized, they're like, guys, we're in big trouble here.
No refund policy.
Yeah, no refund. Exactly. Well,
I got one more for you guys.
Yep.
Is this Ovi's last year, and is it just going to be quiet if they miss the playoffs? Like, because there's no farewell. Like, Washington's got 4 games left.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance, but they're 3 points back, so it's probably curtains for them. If Ovi, I think he's coming back. This guy's got 3 goals?
Yeah,
30.
he scored a lot.
Wasn't there something leaked in the summertime of last year where they were like, printed final game of next season?
Mm-hmm.
There was something leaked like that.
Yeah,
it was a marketing thing.
A marketing thing where it just made you think, like, is this game going to end? He's going to shake everybody's hand and then hammer a bunch of beers and get on a bird and you never see the guy again.
But doesn't he want to play in Russia too? He said he wants to play a couple of years in Russia. Like, he's not a spring chicken. Not that I know it's a step down from the NHL and it's Ovechkin, but if he does want to go back, he's probably got to make that decision relatively quickly. Is he going to play till 45? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
He could pull the Yager, but I think he's got 1 more year left in him, or wouldn't you hear more noise about it? Wouldn't you have a scribe there going, this could be Ovi's last game against Pittsburgh. This could be Ovi's. Like, is he just going to go away and that's it?
Kind
I
of
think
feels
he's playing
like
1 more year.
I don't know. I mean, I could see it both ways. Like,
what did Gretzky do?
I was just about to say, I don't think Gretzky told anyone until he pulled a Scott Oak. Scott Oak just did it over the weekend, right? Legendary broadcaster. He's like, next week, that's it for me, guys. I'm out of here. I got a great appreciation for that. I'm working, and actually I've decided I'm out of here. A week from now, I won't be back. Such a great play.
Did you make an announcement?
I still haven't made an announcement. I'm still suspended. No, I mean, why would I make an announcement? I went to Russia and Japan. Nobody cared.
Struddy, did you? Because I know I didn't either. It was like, see you later. Nobody wanted me back. I didn't want to go back, and it was gone.
I'd one of my family members text me, it's about time.
Well, of course, that's Scott Niedermayer.
You've sucked for 5 years. Niedermayers are better. Like, thanks, buddy.
It was probably Rob.
It is so great when someone makes an announcement, and they're like, nobody cared. Like, no one was asking you to play anyway.
Or even if they were
the guy that 2 years goes by and no one cared, and they're like, I'm going to return to my old team to sign a 1-day contract. And people were like, get lost and stay retired.
Actually, you're not. Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
not
know
doing
some of these
that.
guys weren't playing when I hear they make their
That's
announcements.
the thing. You make the announcement, people are like, you've been done for 5 years. What are you talking about? No, there was no announcement.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oh, you just went away. Didn't sign a contract. Same Struddy, you and I. Like
No.
That's the way to
wasn't
do it.
available for comment.
He never is. He literally never is.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when I saw that. I'm like, Jeff O'Neill was unavailable for comment. I'm like, what was he doing?
10-year
What was this
anniversary.
guy
The
doing?
guy
that he
was trying to
unavailable?
the guy was trying to big league me for like spicing up the. I don't even know what it was.
Massive PR campaign.
Yeah.
10-year anniversary. Big show. Can't find him. He'll call you back.
Why didn't someone just make something up? Hey, I'm really excited. This
Thank you very much.
Just
Thank you
like
very
it,
much.
don't
The
make
guy
it look
sent me
so
a
bad.
crummy email that I never responded to. Don't you think you could check in a second time?
It was actually the best thing ever. It was. I actually thought it was the
It
greatest.
was better that exactly.
Yeah.
That was authentic. That was the real deal. All right, Strud. Well, we're looking forward to seeing the Oilers come playoff time. Lots of support here in Toronto. You know that. And that's good. There's a lot of positive mojo going out towards Alberta.
Wow.
So you
Let's
guys can
hope-
have all the Leaf fans this year.
It's going to be an interesting. The Canada teams are looking interesting. It's
Yeah,
gonna
they
be
are. Let's get
wild
3 in
cards.
there. Let's get at least 3. Let's get
I
another
hope.
one there.
I
I'm
hope.
with you.
I truly hope.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thanks, Struddy. We'll do it
Okay,
again
boys.
soon.
Talk to you later.
There he is, Jason Strudwick, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. We've got Keegan coming up in about 15 minutes. Jays, Dodgers tonight. Some updates on their lineup this evening. What's going on with injured guys. Try to get an update on Addison Barger. Kirk having surgery today. It's Masters week. It's going to be a great week. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Let's get down to business.
All right, Jays, Dodgers tonight. Keegan Matheson coming up in about 10 minutes to set the scene on that series. Look back on a pretty ugly weekend in Chicago. It's early, 4-5, right? It's early, very early, but injuries are starting to pile up. And John Schneider's already given the speech of if you're not going to do it, someone else will. They sent Brendan Little down yesterday, which was mandatory. I mean, after Saturday's display, you just simply couldn't pitch him again. But, we got a big one with the Dodgers in town. So Keegan will join us and starting to see some videos already come out of Augusta, and everyone's jacked for the Masters. Get to our picks on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that. And, look at how butter that bag is. Tailor-made. That's like a specialty Masters bag. It's so sick.
Dude, this embroidery alone, it's outrageous how awesome this bag is.
You look like Paul Bearer, like you're just like sitting there.
That looks like a.
Instead of an
looks like a
urn, you have a
golf bag.
tailor-made bag. Give me some Paul Bearer to get to the break.
Yeah.
Augusta National, I'm coming for you!
This is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. We got a big week here in Toronto. Dodgers back in town. It's been a while, and it's going to be emotional, I would think, down at the Rogers Center tonight. But if you're the Blue Jays, you got to be thinking wins, man. You're not thinking nostalgia, right? You're not thinking anything but we need to smarten up and start playing here.
I kind of disagree with you, Hayes. Not in a negative sense. Let me be very clear with that. I don't think it's going to be emotional. It's like they're the team that beat you. It's almost like I think there will be more of like an angry / urgency type feeling where it's like, screw these guys. They're just in the way of us getting out of a slump and we need a performance. Do you know what I mean? If both teams were playing well, there might be that idea of, let's bring back all those vibes from last year. I don't know if that'll be the case right now. I think the Dodgers are simply in the way of these guys getting out of a funk.
Well,
So desperation.
that is the question we've been asking online. Something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Is this the perfect time or the worst time to play the Dodgers? Because I think you can make a compelling case for both. I would argue the best time because you've got to snap out of this funk. Like, they have not been playing well. Even against Oakland, the opening series, a couple of walk-offs, Bats came alive on the Sunday, but these were not good teams. Oakland and Chicago and Colorado, and now you got injuries, and it's easy to be a woe is me team pretty quickly. I don't think the Dodgers allow them to do that. So I think it's a perfect time to play them, bring them into town, get some mojo going. Let's see what our next guest has to say on that front. Here he is from MLB.com. Huge part of what we do here at TSN. Live from the Rogers Center, there's our boy Keegan Matheson. Keegan, best time to play the Dodgers or worst time to play the Dodgers?
Best time, fellas. Figure it out now. Do it now. You know, if the Blue Jays were going back on the road to Sacramento to play in front of a few thousand people, I'd be pretty worried. They clearly played down to that level in that atmosphere in Chicago. It was not good. They played down to a lesser baseball team and a pretty quiet place to play baseball. Why not come back here? You're going to have some sold-out crowds, and you're going to have some higher stakes, because whether they want to admit it or not, this is going to feel different, okay? This is their worst X they're playing up against. They need to make a statement of some sort against the Dodgers, and this team has some momentum. They have that carryover from 2025, but you can lose that really quick. People can stop caring really quick. There's a lot of other stuff to do in Toronto in the summers, trust me. So this is an opportunity to kind of grab people back. Take 2 or 3, take all 3 from the Dodgers, and suddenly we are talking about them in a much better light.
Keegan, do you think the fact that the Jays have not played well of late, they didn't have a good road trip, they kind of stole some games against the A's, if we're going to be perfectly honest about their start? Like, if both teams were playing well, then you could go down memory lane and say, oh, the World Series was so great. But I just said to Brian, the Dodgers are just standing in the way of a team that's somewhat desperate right now, and they just want to get a W.
Oh, definitely. The Dodgers don't care nearly as much about this, guys. It reminds me of over the years, the last few years when the Yankees would come to town, and we would say, is this a measuring stick series for the Blue Jays? Meanwhile, the Yankees say, we really do not care. So this is what it means to be at the top, like the Dodgers are right now. They don't care about the Blue Jays. They don't care that this is the team they beat last year. They've already proven that they can do that. It was really close. Yes, they were very evenly matched, one of the best World Series we'll ever see. But they don't care like the Blue Jays should care about this. They're already at the top. Everyone else is chasing them. The Blue Jays have a taste of how that feels right now, but there's still one team they're chasing, guys. They are still going to be measured by how they play the Dodgers. I don't care that it's April 5th.
How big is the injury to Kirk, and how could that have a ripple effect on the team?
Yeah, guys, I can't overstate that one. However valuable you think Alejandro Kirk is, you've got to multiply that by 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, this is one of the most important players on the Toronto Blue Jays because he matters to every single player on the field, and he matters to every pitcher with the work he does. It's quiet. It's not as big and loud as Vladdy or Dylan Cease. He's so important to this team. And the news that we got today, guys, that he will be undergoing surgery, it's not good news. So that could add another week or 2. And then when you get back from a thumb injury, guys, whether it's a fractured finger or thumb, my worry is what's it going to be like offensively? Do you still have that same power at the plate? Do you still have that same explosion? I'm not sure. So without Kirk is really rough right now. They need Tyler Heineman to step up in a big way. They need Brandon Valenzuela, who I like a lot, guys, to step in and maybe surprise some people, maybe take this backup job and run with it, which I actually think he can do.
Keegan, do they got to sniff around and find a catcher? Brian was telling me it's impossible at this time of year. Nothing's impossible if you're desperate and need a guy. Like, what causes them to go out and get a guy? Like, is the timeline is a performance? Because I think this is fairly urgent.
It is urgent, guys. And O-Dog, I always compare it to NFL quarterbacks. Remember when the Colts went and took Phillip Rivers out of the retirement home last year? Like, this is what MLB catchers are like. There are not enough. So if you're listening to this and one of your kids is interested in playing baseball, please just make them a switch-hitting catcher, okay? They will have work for the rest of their lives. There's not enough. And in Major League Baseball, if you have Heineman and Valenzuela as backup options, honestly, that's not a bad spot to be in. A lot of teams are way thinner than this. And the Blue Jays have been pretty lucky in this position over the years, back when they had Danny Jansen, Gabriel Moreno. But most teams, if they have an injury to catcher, they're screwed. The Blue Jays being able to bring up Brandon Valenzuela, I like. I'm a big fan of what he brings to this organization. I think he can be a big leaguer as a backup long term, but you still need someone who's raising the ceiling and contributing offensively right now. They need a jolt from somebody somewhere, but if there's ever catching available, I think they'll be all over it. It's just not often available.
With Keegan Matheson, MLB.com, Jays, Dodgers tonight. So Addison Barger, not in the lineup this evening. John Schneider, I believe, said they'll know more on him later tonight or tomorrow. Like, what are you hearing, and what should people be bracing for here?
Bilateral ankle discomfort, fellas. Everyone say it with me 3 times. It means both ankles are hurt. So when he ran through the bag here, in Chicago there yesterday, at first base, he landed awkwardly on one ankle and then stumbled and landed awkwardly on the other one. So bilateral ankle discomfort means you hurt both of them at the same time. First time I've seen it, not great for Addison Barger. He didn't look terribly comfortable walking around in the clubhouse earlier. And everything he does is hard and fast. He kind of runs like he's trying to stomp through the ground anyways, so you need him all the way healthy if he's going to be out there. If he's not, Tyler Fitzgerald, who they just acquired from the Giants, who I think fits this team pretty well, is here on the taxi squad. But Barger, you need to get going, guys. This has been a cold start, and we talked about it over and over again in February and March. I remember us talking about Barger, along with Varsho, being a guy they need to elevate this lineup. Neither of them have so far. You need something else beyond Vladdy, beyond George. Barger is the easiest option to be that. He just has not been.
Well, and it immediately affects your lineup, obviously. I mean, you take Kirk out and Barger out. We were talking about it last hour, Keegan. When we had you on for opening day, that was your 4 and your 5 hitter. Those were your 2 guys that were going to protect Vladdy for the season. Kirk is not going to be doing that anytime soon, and we'll see what happens with Barger, but it doesn't sound overly optimistic. Interestingly enough, they're going with Okamoto at cleanup tonight. And I think he has, 17 strikeouts on the year, I believe. He's like basically 50% of his plate appearances are ending in a strikeout. What are you seeing from him that's leading to this type of futility? And how much of it is simply you just got to the big leagues, you got to figure this out, and eventually he will figure it out?
Yeah, I notice him being very eager right now, guys. I think a lot of people have seen these strikeout swings in the last few games where he's not fully letting it rip. He's not taking that big Vladdy hack all the way through. It's almost like a 3/4 check swing where he's just getting through the zone. That means that he's committing a bit early. He's deciding, I'm going to swing at this, then the pitch comes, where you need to be adapting, you need to be playing this a bit more naturally. So part of this is going to be just getting used to the league, getting used to pitchers, the sliders they throw in Major League Baseball compared to over in Japan. It's different. The velocity can be different. I think he can do it, but you need protection behind Vladdy, because if you look at any situation with Vladdy coming up, if the bases are empty and there's 2 outs, I'm not going to throw Vladdy a good pitch, because I know that if I walk Vladdy, Kazuma Okamoto might come out, and like you say, Hayes, 50% of the time I can strike this guy out. They need someone behind Vladdy to protect him. That's an overdone conversation. I think it gets exaggerated a lot. This is one situation where I think it really matters, and it's something they need to figure out over the course of a year, because I don't think they have a natural cleanup hitter right now, and that matters.
How's the expressions on the faces, Keegs? Like, is Schneid's kind of, I'm sure at the beginning everyone was like, we were awesome last year, and it probably didn't take long for some faces to change. Is everybody staying even keel?
Everybody's pretty even keel, guys. I even think to yesterday in Chicago, it's 10 a.m. I'm standing in the clubhouse, and they've got the pregame playlist on. It's lots of just like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff. Everyone's loose. I wisely did not tweet out that I thought the vibes were good, because then I would have looked bad. I got to protect myself here, but it didn't work yesterday. But being around this team and how everyone's acting, it feels the same. And I think that comes from last year, some carryover. It comes from George Springer and Kevin Gausman. I don't sense any level of panic or anyone being tight. You've seen that with a few players. I think Tyler Heineman being an example over the weekend in Chicago, where they do tighten up a little bit. But I really think, guys, it just takes one big swing. Like if Vladdy comes out here in an hour and hits a ball 500 feet, everyone loosens up, because they say, okay, there's our leader, there's our guy, he did it, I don't need to be the hero now. They just need that one to break the ice, and that big one hasn't come yet.
Yeah, and I love hearing that, and as it should be. I mean, they're a mature team. They're 4-5. Outside of the Yankees, no one else is doing anything in the division. And yes, it was a soft start, and we made a lot of that, and I think understandably so and deservedly so, throughout spring training. You had visions of a 7-2 start, right? That's what the Dodgers are doing right now. They're 7-2 coming into the game tonight. But it happened. It's over. They're not 0-9. Yes, they're dealing with injuries, and that is concerning. But there's still a lot of season left, and there should be optimism. And I'm glad you brought up Vladdy because he's having a very regular season start, right? He's getting on base a lot, hitting a bunch of singles. He's got one home run. That was hopefully going to come to an end this year. Again, only 9 games, but the expectations can't be 23, 25 home runs and 850 OPS and you play every day, right? Like it's really got to be on him. And I think with these injuries, it puts that much more pressure on him. But I have a feeling he's going to respond to that. And I think of all the guys that should respond with the Dodgers in town and your team struggling, it's got to be Vladdy, right? Like he's got to have a big 3 games here.
Oh, yeah. I think he will, too. It used to be the Yankees that got Vladdy going. I think it's going to be the Dodgers now. I really think this series gets him going. We saw a bit of it in Chicago. He had the big home run. Then Brendan Little wiped that out. That's an old story, but didn't work. Now I think the Dodgers are going to bring out the best in Vladdy. It's got to be him. The bar needs to be higher, okay? We had all forgotten about 2021, but then we saw the postseason last year. He can still do that. You need that back. That is the easiest way for any of this to happen. And I think a motivated Vladdy is a very dangerous Vladdy. I think he hits one a mile this week.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. It would be great if he did it tomorrow against Yamamoto. I mean, that's the way you want it to start, with Yamamoto on the mound and Ohtani on the mound on Wednesday. I mean, that, like tonight, again, you don't want to overemphasize one game, but it does feel like with Yamamoto and Ohtani waiting for him, you kind of got to get to the bullpen this evening, don't you? Like you kind of got to get after the Dodgers and take advantage of this starting pitching matchup. And I guess that kind of puts the focus on Scherzer, who looked really good in his first start. What do you expect from Max tonight?
Yeah, I don't think any team will face a 2-day pitching run like the Jays are going to face the next 2 days, Yamamoto and Ohtani. So good luck with those two. You need to do it in this game, and Scherzer needs to keep them close, guys. He's looked fantastic. The piano has saved his thumb, saved the career. It's been amazing to hear how that's worked for Max Scherzer, but he is so motivated, so intense still, and he has his best stuff. Like the difference, guys, between Max Scherzer throwing 92 and 94, it's all the difference in the world. That's the difference between him being a 5 ERA like we saw last year and being a guy who can go out and win them games. And we've seen the Blue Jays bullpen. It's churning. There's a new guy in here every day. That's not a good place to be in. Max Scherzer needs to give them a start where it just goes Max Scherzer, Louis Varland, Tyler Rogers, Jeff Hoffman. They win the ball game. Standard, normal game. This team has not had a normal game in about a week. It's been messy, and I think if anyone's going to get that back on track and just kind of stubborn their way to a good start, it's going to be Max Scherzer.
Keegan, before we get you out of here, can you go into any detail about your day off in Chicago? How many pints? What was the food items? I know that you were fairly excited about that. Give us something to hang our hat on.
What a day, fellas. I think I'm still working it off. We found a lovely Irish bar, O'Callaghan's, and a number of delicious pints of Guinness in that city. It's a fine city to enjoy a pint of Guinness. Stayed away from the deep dish, O-Dog. I stayed strong. So, I'm not feeling like I've gained 20 pounds so far, but it's a wonderful city to have some fun in. And, boys, I'm lucky I don't cover hockey or basketball. If I had off days in between every game, I don't think I'd make it through half a season. So I better stick to baseball here where they keep me busy.
Attaboy. Keep it rolling, man. Enjoy yourself tonight. We'll do it again later in the week.
You got it, guys. Take care.
Keegan Matheson live from the Rogers Center.
That would be a tough gig if like you were an old school beat writer that liked to take it deep in Major League Baseball. 142 nights in a row.
It's a lot.
And they're out there probably, man. There's some old schoolers that probably hit the town on the nightly.
Well, but here's what has changed. Social media now forces you to prove you're there, you're alive, you're following the game. right? Like back
you mean like the days of hiding and writing a fluff piece and just
all
mailing
day, like some guy writing for the Milwaukee Times is like he's in New York for 4 days. He writes his 4 pieces. They don't know what the hell this guy's been doing. You know, it's like, did he show up on time? Was he on the field?
Watching it on TV from the bar.
Totally.
Like, that's the thing.
Exactly. Hey, Brewers won. What a game. Can't wait for tomorrow. Meanwhile, this guy hasn't moved. He's got an IV in his arm, and he's just toast. You know, like now it's a completely different world with media obligations and TV and social media and Instagram and all that. You got to kind of prove you're there. You didn't have to do that back in the day.
That is true. Now you've got location services that guaranteed people are checking to make sure that guy is in that city at the stadium or wherever.
Totally.
Or somebody snaps a photo of him sitting at an Irish pub and he's supposed to be at the stadium covering the game.
That's another thing. There were no cameras back then.
Right.
Like no one's taking pictures or anything. Yeah. And there's also different timelines. Like I know Keegan, working with him throughout the playoffs for MLB.com, it's like you got to get that up on the website immediately. You know, game ends, you got half an hour. You got to have something in. If you were playing a day game back in the 40s, they're like, the paper, I don't know, have it to us by 11 o'clock. What the hell do we care?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You write your piece, a couple of beers afterwards. There's there wasn't nearly as much urgency as there would be now. But, Jays-Dodgers starting tonight. And I'm excited for the week. Like, I'm excited to see what they've got. This is, like he said, and I think Keegan's right, the Dodgers, I'm sure it's cool memories for them. They won a World Series here. You know, they were here, 4 months ago, celebrating and partying. And, you know, I was on the field. I was watching it. It was a wild scene. And Kershaw's not there anymore. And there's certain guys who have moved on. And there's new guys here. Now Tucker's here and Diaz is here. But ultimately, they're stacked. They're 7-2. They've won 3 in a row. They're just going to keep playing. Like, you know what you're getting out of L.A. The question is what the Jays are going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to be optimistic. I want to see them bounce back, but I got a feeling that a thumping might be, it's just a scary lineup, man. It's a scary lineup.
I understand that. They're coming up. They just got swept by the White Sox, and now you're playing the Dodgers. Without
the
Kirk and without Barger
or something.
Yeah, they're demolishing teams. They have like a plus 20 run differential or something 9 games into the season.
Yeah, they could be dangerous, but this is when teams surprise you when they got their back up against the wall.
Yep, go ahead. Exactly it, man. You're gonna play tough teams. No one cares if you're dealing with injuries. The best teams find a way to fight through it. That's what the Blue Jays have to do. I saw an interesting stat last night that there were 269 walks issued throughout baseball on Saturday and Sunday combined. That's the most combined walks over any 2-day span in the modern era. And what I find interesting about that is this ABS system, I think, has forced the umpires to tighten up their strike zone. And not that they're sharper because, they've all of a sudden they've got contacts or 20/20 vision. I think the feel of umpiring is leaving the game. And this is why you see a lot of the veteran starters, they hate this. They don't hate the ABS system for the actual challenge. They hate that the ump isn't going to give you pitches even though they know you didn't really get it like they used to. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to be a veteran arm, like a guy like Scherzer in his prime. Umps would just, it's close enough. You're getting that call.
Get the benefit of the deal.
Now they're like, dude, it's a strike. I got to call it. Or it's a ball. I got to call it because I'm going to get challenged and I'm going to look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I might be reading too much into that, but I do think that the ABS system is actually going to sharpen up umpiring and not necessarily for the reason you think.
You know what else it's doing, Hayes? It's shrinking guys, if you can believe that. Guys that wrote down like 6'2" on their bio or whatever, they got to get scanned or whatever for this thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like there's
now
guys.
There's
Doogie, please confirm this, look this up. They're actually like 5'9" and 5'10".
That's great.
And they're getting auto-corrected on their bios, man. Guys love writing down 6 feet, but they're not. They're 5'9".
We always did that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, in Central Scouting, you were dying to be, you know, for me to bump up to 6. I was 5'10.5" when I was 17 years old. By the time I was 19, I was 6 feet. But you wanted to be, you know, 200 pounds. You wanted to be 6'1" or whatever. So you try and cheat to get there. But now that they've got it auto-corrected, you
guys might think I'm crazy. I grew a half an inch last year.
Oh, you did.
Dude, I swear to God, man. I've gotten taller in the last 2 years. I'm not kidding.
How is that possible?
Dude, tell Doogie to Google it. Tell Doogie to Google it if you can grow in your late 40s.
Midlife crisis growing? It's the opposite way.
No,
generally. Like maybe your posture has improved.
I don't know.
I think
Doogie,
that's probably what happened. You probably used to have brutal posture, and
Doogie,
now it's better.
Did you Google if it's possible to grow in your late 40s?
I don't think so.
How would Doogie find out that information?
Google it.
Yeah.
AI.
Okay, go ahead, Doogie. Look into that and find out if there's any examples of people in their late 40s. Go ahead, Doogie. What do you have?
There we go. AI says no. As a guy in your late 40s, you cannot naturally grow taller.
It's just not
possible.
possible.
What are you talking about?
It's not possible. Like, unless you're putting lifts in or, you lost a lot of weight. So I think your posture probably improved.
Maybe that's it. But I feel like I'm 6'2", and before I was 6 foot.
Well, you're not. I mean, you can feel anything you want.
I learned this. If you're always at your tallest when you're laying on your back. So if you lay on a table and they measure the height,
dude, you know what?
Standing up.
I'll be in there on Thursday. Doogie, bring a tape. Bring a tape.
Let's do it.
But what was your original height? This is the problem with that. Like,
we don't know the original
I don't know
height.
what you were 3 years ago or what you claimed to be.
Doogie, Google my NHL stats.
Yeah, but it's fraudulent. Like you guys just admitted. Everyone
just admitted.
If you're within a couple inches, you say 6 feet.
I was a high-rated pick. They did not let you screw around. They were like checking your feet.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
What did you play at? 6'1", 200? What were you?
I was always like 6 foot. Like they capped me off at 6 foot. But I feel like I'm 6'2" now.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, I'm not telling you not to feel taller. I mean, if it's boosting your confidence or you feel better about yourself, go ahead.
Legally, you're not taller.
And it's just not scientifically, it's not possible.
Guys,
right?
you think everything I say is to try to be funny or stupid?
No,
I'm being dead serious.
I think you are being serious, but it's one of the most ignorant things you've ever said. Like, it's just impossible to happen, man. You can't.
See, dude, I'm telling you right now.
You can't do this at 48, 49 years old.
You know what I'm going to do? Like the court of law, I'm going to get a second opinion, and I need somebody with any kind of medical experience. Dr. Theo with the Maple Leafs, write a note and say it is possible for an older gentleman to grow a little bit.
Well, maybe if you get like a knee replacement or something,
dude,
is that
I
possible?
didn't get a knee replacement.
You did not grow. That's the thing. Like, if anything, old people shrink.
Always.
By the time, like, if somebody who's 6'1",
no, I get it. You're a shriveled up old 98-year-old man.
All the time.
You're 4 feet tall when you're all done.
Like if you have bad back issues, like Hulk Hogan, I think the Hulkster was like 6'7" or 6'9", and by the time he passed away, he was like 6'3". Because they had taken out like vertebrae and like
his hunched over.
Yeah, he had so many different back surgeries. He just kept shrinking.
There's
but
no
it's
way
just simply not possible to go the other way.
Yeah,
like it's,
I'm not
like,
having you guys do
You're going to be Wemby when you turn 60? Like, you think this just,
I'm not having you guys do this to me because
I know. I want to be serious about it.
I want a medical person to say it's just
I think
somebody.
Let me clarify, and I'm being dead serious. The greatest thing that could ever happen in this show if you became some medical phenomenon.
Yes.
That became international news. Yes. And every time they introduced you as, Jeff O'Neill of OverDrive, it'd be the greatest marketing campaign we could ever get. Yeah. So I'm supporting this. I hope it's true. Yeah. It just keeps growing and growing and growing.
You're Benjamin Buttons. Like, you're getting younger and taller.
It'd be amazing. It would be great.
Dude,
but
you're being stupid. I don't want to be Jack and the Beanstalk on the panel doing Leaf games and on the show. I just think that I am taller than when I was 18 and 20 years old.
Okay.
I think the thing is that you've got svelte and you're probably the shoulders are back and you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
Where maybe earlier, if you were a great grinder, you're kind of hunched over and kind of like, nobody needs to see this. But now you're like, let's bring it on type of thing.
Doctors, right in. Anyone in the medical field, right in.
Lay them on a table and then measure them out. That's when you're at your tallest, apparently.
Okay.
That's what I.
We'll lay on the desk right here in the studio.
Dude, why not the floor before the show?
The floor. But you're going to be in a suit on Thursday.
I don't care. Yeah. Put a blanket down. We'll do it on the carpet outside of the studio.
Yeah, like that's better.
That carpet has seen some things there.
Yeah, the carpet was put in 1946. I mean, it's been here forever.
Yeah,
but hey, it's Masters Week too, man. I got to break out the Norman hoodie. Noodles, you still have yours.
Oh yeah, I'll wear that.
I'm going to send Joe some potential picks for a new hoodie.
Okay, so we'll look through those for later this week. I've got some audio. LeBron stealing my act. I want to play this. We'll get into it. We got our best bet still to come. It's Masters Week. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
The PWHL is more than a league. It's a family.
Dedication, unity, anything it takes.
Shared moments.
Shoots and scores!
Shared passion.
The real deal.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. That's what they came for!
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Take my breath away and make it last forever. Do it now or never.
All right, best bets later in the hour. Jays Dodgers tonight. LeBron stealing my act. I'm going to play some audio here in a minute. Yeah, I'm sure he's a fan of the show. He's got to be a fan of the show.
Big time.
With some of the stuff he was saying over the weekend.
What's he saying? Oh, we have some. We're going to play some.
Well, why don't we play it? We have it? Yeah, okay, we'll play it. Because here's why. Let me set it up this way. Because I am known as the guy that takes runs at cities, right? Sacramento takes a lot of heat. The state of New Jersey.
What dumpy city was he in? He took a shot at.
So LeBron is stealing my act. He
said nobody cares about anybody in a city.
Listen to it. Listen to it. This is LeBron over the weekend, all right? It's a 41-year-old, one of the all-time greats, maybe the greatest of all time. And I'm coming around. I've always been a LeBron guy. I might be his biggest fan after these comments.
41 years old. There's two cities I do not like playing in right now. That's Milwaukee and that's Memphis. What is your problem? I don't like going home either. And I'm from there. What is people are ridiculous. They also get mad at my son being on the team too. So what are we talking about? People need to figure out other ways to put their energy to other things that's important. Like, seriously, I'm not talking about the city, like the people in Memphis.
Okay, so taking runs at Memphis, because it started, he was doing a podcast, a golf podcast. Can't remember who he was with, and he was just taking runs at Memphis. I guess players just hate going there. Like, I've never been there. I don't know the city. I get the impression it's not the greatest.
I've been there one time. I thought it was a nice little city.
Okay, so there you go.
But, I mean, I'm not LeBron James, and I'm not looking to have a $5,000 or whatever he's looking to do.
Right. Like, I think you try to get to Graceland if you can. There's probably a couple of other things.
Look, if you had, if you were in Europe and you were doing a tour of the United States and you had to hit 5 spots, it's not on it. But if you want to go and tee it up at TPC there and play the course they play the FedEx, it's not a bad place. I don't know. I'm at an age where I don't even care about the city anymore. As long as there's a bed. Me and my buddies stay at crappy hotels when we travel. We don't care, man. We sleep, we golf, we eat, and go to bed. We don't care about city, food, any of it, man.
Okay.
I respect LeBron. He's like, I'm 41. I don't need to tell you. What do I care if
I love it.
People in Memphis are mad at me?
In
It's
Milwaukee.
like, I don't like the city.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like it. I don't like going there. It stinks.
Milwaukee,
it's a brutal city.
We don't have to get into the audio of this, but I found I found it on the weekend. This Max Comtois goes over to Russia, and this guy's coach and all of his teammates basically went up to the ref and said, "Do something with this guy because we hate his guts too." I couldn't believe it. Even the head coach is like, "This guy's an idiot. We can't stand him." The other players were like, "This guy's an idiot," and then his own teammates were saying, we can't stand the guy either."
Yeah.
This is Victor Kozlov, I believe, behind the bench. He's just basically like, we can't stand the guy. We can't stand. I always thought Max Comtois, when I saw him at the World Juniors, that this guy's going to be a power forward, a 25-goal scorer. Now he's in the KHL, and his coach and his teammates hate his guts, and they want to get him off the ice because they don't like him. I found it outrageous.
The other team came up, and he's out there slew-footing guys. That's what they were saying. Like, this guy keeps – it was 2 separate complaints from 2 other players in the other team going, this guy – that's Zach Fucali going – this guy's trying to slew-foot everybody. So he's blaming it, and then there's other players coming up to the ref saying, this guy's slew-footing. Watch him. And they're all complaining, this guy's slew-footing us. And then their own teammates, the last guy who comes up is the captain of the team, is like, we don't like him either. Like, don't hold it against us.
Yeah, that's
It's
tough.
an outrage. The fact, Comtois is probably watching it going, these guys probably didn't realize that the ref put this video up.
Right, exactly.
Because that's his helmet cam with sound on it.
It's kind of wild how many guys are speaking English over there, too. Like, I guess that's not that surprising. But, yeah, I mean, it's I was not aware of that. That's got to be troubling. Maybe you're looking for a new team to play on or possibly a new league if you're Max. But, for LeBron, I love that. 41, he's like, I'm not apologizing. I don't like it. I don't like Memphis. I don't like Milwaukee. And I don't even like Akron. Like, that was the best part. He's like, I'm from Akron. I can't stand it. I don't like going back there. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're LeBron James, like you said, you can say whatever you want. The comment about Bronny is a completely different conversation. Like, and he should know better than that. But his opinion on if he likes a city or not, go for it. Why is anyone holding, I get it. If you're from Memphis or Milwaukee, you'd hate to hear that. But,
and you know what? Boo him. Boo him on the court. Boo him when he comes there and plays. But the idea of anybody being outraged, and I can't say this enough times in life and what people are doing now, the fake outrage just to bring attention to yourselves about, oh, I can't believe this person did that or said that. Like, the fake, nobody cares. Like, nobody
cares what people in New Jersey
think. Exactly.
See, there you go. You guys are coming around. I've been saying that for a long time. Nobody cares what people in Memphis think or Milwaukee.
I know. Like, it just, everything tries to get blown up. Like the podcast with the Kachuk brothers and the dad. It's like people tried to pick apart pieces of it and say, oh, my God, I can't believe this. Like, everyone's so offended, and I'm so pissed off that they didn't. Like, it's insane.
Well,
and I think there's some credible media members that are just losing their minds and losing self-respect with all the nonsense they're doing. Some of the people that they're bringing up to be the next executives at the Leafs with zero experience, it seems like a favor or it's their buddies and they're trying to do them a solid. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, some of these people that are being listed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different conversation. I'm with you. I mean,
it's under the same umbrella.
Yes, I get it. But, like, that happens with every job. We always joke about it, right? Oh, yeah, JFJ is going for an interview. He's not getting a job.
How many times do they not have to get hired before the people writing these pieces stop putting them in the pieces? Oh, this person would be great. They could crunch numbers like the best. What?
Well, that's the thing about the Leaf thing is, like, that has been, so focused on, and I understand why, that it's like people are moving into these directions where it's like that person has a 0% chance of being the GM.
I know, but the problem is if you're not in the know and you don't know what people, like, there's executives out there who some of the people in the media hold in the highest regard and they think they're gods, and they're not. And people in their own organizations know that, and yet they continue to be pumped up to be this wizard or a god or something, and it's like that's not the case. So if you're not in the know, stop writing the nonsense.
Well, you know what it is. You throw enough spaghetti at the wall, maybe something sticks. I mean,
I guess, Jamie. I guess.
I get it. You know what? We're going to sit as media members, as fans, you name it, whatever we are, in our bucket, and we're going to be guessing and debating until something happens. And one of the insiders is going to break it and say, this guy was in town, this person's been interviewed, all of that. You're hearing all of that. I hope they get it right. That's all I care about and we won't know because
for 5 years we won't know.
We might not know for a while. Correct, Brian, you're right. We might not know if they get the right person. But I hope they get it right, or people, because it might be multiple people that you need to add to this group. Keep in mind, there's an incumbent. Shane Doan's still there. Haley Wickenheiser. There's people that have contracts. You got to figure out what you're going to do there. In a lot of those people were Brad Treliving's hires. So are they going to let their contracts run out? Are you going to move away from them? Are you going to, have some people stay? There's big decisions to be made here. Massive
definitely.
decisions.
And listen, there's also a real disconnect from reality when you start looking at social media and thinking that social media is driving the overall feeling of a fan base or a market or a city.
Yeah.
And I think, in Ottawa, it's probably case in point. You look at Brady Tkachuk yesterday. That place was going nuts for him. And he had a great game, and he does the interview afterwards, and they're chanting, Brady, 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 where if you were online or in a certain echo chamber of the online community, you would think this guy was being run out of town, that he had to go. And some of it because of the podcast stuff, even though it wasn't him that said anything, like it was Keith, his dad that said it. But, if I get the impression, Noodles, you know the market better than I do, but Brady's a beloved player there and should be as a great player, as a captain of a team that is still in a playoff spot as of today. The injuries are going to be an issue, and we'll see what happens down the stretch here. They still have some tough games, clearly, but he's going to factor into whether or not they get in. And if they do get in, that's the best way to just make sure everyone's happy. You go on a run. We'll see what happens with his future and whether or not he stays in Ottawa long term. I mean, obviously, that's yet to be determined, but he's under contract right now, and Ottawa just continues to plug away.
Well, how many times are we going to talk about this, though, too? They've had a noisy season. Like, that's there's been just injuries, there's been inconsistencies, there's been distractions on and off the ice, but they just keep kind of chugging along. Like my opening tomorrow, I'm doing the game against Tampa. I'm going to talk about some of the leaders. Like Jake Sanderson was great. Linus Ullmark played back-to-back on the weekend.
That's huge.
Timmy Stützle had one of the goals of the year.
What a goal last night he scored, man.
And Brady Tkachuk had a couple.
Yeah.
Incredible. But Tkachuk had 2 goals, and he was involved physically. And like they need those guys if they're going to make it. But like we talked about it earlier, Rick Tocchet. Maybe Philly would he be coach of the year? Travis Green's up for the
you're
look
right.
at some of these teams that are sniffing around. Did you see at the start of the year, did anybody have on their bingo card Pittsburgh and Philadelphia being in that's high up in the standings?
See, and
I think the fantasy story of the coach, whether it be Greeny or Dan Muse or Bones,
you're right.
They've got to be pushed aside for the greatness of John Cooper
I agree.
and Bednar out in Colorado. Like the guy in Colorado, just don't ignore what that team did, man. Everybody talks about how difficult the season was with the schedule and the Olympics. They had a bunch of Olympians on that team, and that team had an incredible regular season. Why not reward the guy or John Cooper? I love looking at these side stories as well, but don't let the dominance and greatness overtake it, because you got to go to one of those 2 top guys. But they always do every year. They're like, they're good players there. Okay.
We always look for the new sexy story instead of the ones that were staring.
And
us
they
in
are
the face.
sexy stories. Like if
That's
Travis
the
Green
thing.
gets that Senators team with all the injuries and the goaltending they've had this year, that's Coach of the Year worthy. And Bones,
agree.
same thing. And Dan Muse, same thing. And there's a bunch of other stories. But don't ignore the greatness.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a stat out there that if they get in, it's a number. They have the worst save percentage in the league, the Ottawa Senators. That's a team, and their penalty kill is, I believe, 29th or 30th. But they're a playoff team as of today.
Yeah,
isn't that
wild.
Crazy?
It is.
They are a positive goal differential. And you look at Steve Stamkos has made a couple little nifty little plays, trades. Like you look at the Jordan Spence trade. Now he's playing in their top 4, especially with the injuries and that. You look at the Warren Fogle trade, who's really
that was a good pickup. Yeah,
but these are things that would put Greeny into those conversations. But you're right, what has John Cooper done to take himself
Lindy
out
Ruff.
of that
We haven't even mentioned
Lindy
Ruff.
Yes,
I mean,
Lindy
Buffalo
Ruff.
hadn't made the playoffs in 14 years. Fired their GM, and they've been the hottest team in the league for 4 months.
Yeah,
Marty St. Louis got Montreal. They prior to was it yesterday
last
they
night,
lost?
They won 8 in a row.
They had won exactly. They're the hottest team in the league or close to it.
Yep.
And I mean, you can look at a lot of different guys, and and point to them. And look at Nashville. They're in a playoff spot. No one saw that coming a few months ago.
Do you think who's going to finish it off on either one of these sides? We should have a little bit of like a, Jerry's maybe Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah, we will.
But like there is a coin flip going on on both sides of what team is going to sneak in at the last day of the season here.
Well, and again with the Leafs, I think they will be emboldened by what you just said about Philly and Pittsburgh, and they'll say, listen, if those two teams can come out of nowhere and make the playoffs and finish with 95, 97, 98 points, why can't they regroup and do it next year?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they can or not. But why not? I mean,
lots of work to be done.
100%. There's lots of work to be done. But there was a ton of work to be done in Pittsburgh and a ton of work to be done in Philly. And it's worked for them this year. Now, maybe Philly doesn't end up holding on, but they're still at 90 points. I didn't see that coming. Like they've been one of the worst teams in the league the last few years.
One thing that I thought was the biggest difference, they went and got Vladar. He's been really good. They had goaltending issues.
That's a big part of it, Noodles.
Pittsburgh, same thing. Couldn't get a save. Jari had a great start to the season, and then they bring in Skinner, which really Sheloff is the guy who's been really good for them, too. Like Skinner's numbers are worse in Pittsburgh than they were in Edmonton. So it's crazy, but they're right there, second place.
Oh, they're going to make it. And Sid with, more points over the weekend, and now he's officially locked up 21 straight seasons with at least a point a game.
Yeah,
which is obviously a new record, passing Wayne Gretzky, which is incredible. Like just a remarkable stat of consistency and dominance. And it's great that Sid's going to be back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it could be Pittsburgh, Philly in the first round, which would be electric.
Electric.
Like those two teams in the first round, Buffalo, Montreal. Give me Buffalo, Montreal, Pitt, Philly. Those would just be great geographical battles. In terms of how the
Buffalo, Montreal. I bet they better keep the people from Montreal out there because that whole barn will be red because they'll
be down there. Well, dude, it's not even from Montreal; it's from Southern Ontario. There's so many Habs fans in Toronto, and
you can't keep them out. They're going to get.
We got to go to a game. I think we should go to a game in Buff. Me
and Donnie Nickel. I told you, Hayes, we're going. Like we're getting a car and we're going to watch a game.
Yeah, you and Buffalo Don, you guys are going to make your way down there?
We are.
Okay.
We want to see a playoff game.
I'm sure you do. There's a lot of things that I'm sure you'd like to do. A lot of people have big plans. I'll believe. Yeah, exactly. You'll be 6'5" walking in there.
Let's take a break, and I want to go through some hoodie ideas for next year for the Masters.
Okay. I love this idea. We're going to start. We're already planning for 2027.
Yeah, or just the next hoodie for the Masters because we've done the Greg Norman falling on the grass.
I love the Norman.
It's actually my favorite hoodie.
Okay.
Now, am I wearing that Wednesday on the show?
Yeah, I think I can commit to that.
So I got a pack.
It's a backup. We got to find a secondary. I have some options for a secondary Masters hoodie.
Okay. I love it. Okay, we'll do that, and best bets. We'll get to it next.
Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You're getting about 6.5 tonight for the Huskies. And as Dan Hurley's such a good coach, man, I'm going to take the points. I think it'll be a good game. I think Michigan probably wins, but national championship game tonight. Hurley's a lunatic, too, man. He goes
he's
nuts.
Headbutting refs.
He is crazy.
Did you see when he rubbed his forehead? I thought he was going to get, suspended for that.
I was shocked. I was like, this guy is literally face to face.
His jacket was half off, and he went right up to the guy, and he was like, come on, bro.
He's crazy, but he's a great coach.
He's a lunatic.
He's a great coach. So I'm going to take the points with UConn tonight. Best bets powered by FanDuel. And I'm not touching the Jays game. I would lean Jays on the run line. It'll pay a little bit of juice. I think it'll be a close game, a good game. I think they can win tonight. But they're not coming in with great mojo. Every MLB game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. So we got Jays Dodgers tonight. live from the Masters. I am going to be so dialed in this evening, just watching so much
Brandel
content.
Chambly injected into my veins.
Yeah.
But we have a standard hoodie, which is Greg Norman sharding greenside on his knees. And it's one of our favorite picks of all time. And it'll always be our go-to hoodie.
Yeah.
But we need a secondary Masters hoodie. And the first option, not a Masters winner, basically nothing to do with the Masters, but you put a green hoodie and put this guy's grill, the ultimate grin screw, right on.
Yeah.
Dude, Monty? You just put Monty grin screwing.
Monty.
Look at him. He is grin screwing someone on the side of a green right now. And that's just an iconic pick of ours.
I want that. That pick, the second the camera goes down, his face goes blank and he goes, "Get me out of here. I can't be around these people."
Screw you. And the second option, guys, might ruffle some feathers at Augusta with us and with the fan base. Take a look. Imagine this on a hoodie. This might sell like hotcakes. Joe from the bridge.
Oh, no, not Jerry
Player with a knee kick sky high.
I can't do Jerry Player, man. He's.
I know, but it's almost like a hate wear.
Yeah.
Like you just wear that around golf, and people were like, "You're a look at this guy."
No, I'd rather have him doing push-ups. Like, that's what
you're
he's
right.
A Jerry Player leg kick after a birdie, I think it's an option.
It's not bad.
And the last one, it might be the go-to. This is AI generated, but it's Stads and Woozy crippled in the Butler cabin. Okay, they're boozed up. They've got brown liquor. They've got brown liquor in the Butler cabin. And I think that might have to be our backup.
Dude, it's my favorite pick every year, the Champions Dinner, where those two are all like as far in the back right as you can get.
Furnace faces for days.
I think the Monty one wins. I love that.
Yeah, that is pretty good. What was his best finish at the Masters? Like, did he ever T2 it? He must have T5'd the bunch. He had to have T5 2 or 3 times at least, I would think.
Stads?
No, Monty.
Oh, Monty. Oh, yeah. He probably top 10 the hell out of that place.
Yeah, he would. I'm sure he sniffed around it a bunch. Obviously never won. Okay, well, we got some options. So we will we'll find a way to pick one by the end of the week. Yeah, exactly. We can't wait. All right, so we're going to get to our picks on Wednesday. It's Masters week. We got the Jays in action. The Leafs are coming up this week. The Raptors trying to punch a ticket in the top 6. It's going to be a great week. Cannot wait for it. Full coverage, too, of the Masters right on the range. I was watching it all day on TSN. It's unbelievable.
Is Jerry Player, did they allow him back?
Yeah, he'll be down there, of course. He'll be back. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. Every show up on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Big Ern McCracken. Are you going to Augusta?
No, I'm not.
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.